Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the game review, Leeds United 2, Everton 2 at Ellen Road on Saturday. A very fiery, feisty game of football and a game that ended in a point for both sides. Arguably disappointing from an Everton point of view. I think Leeds United fans would probably feel a little bit disappointed with it as well. They had a couple of chances towards the end of the game, but I think Everton certainly had the better chances to win that game of football on Saturday. And when you look at, when we look back on this game and you watch it on Match of the Day and you watch the replay and you sort of, again, you look back and you think, if only Dominic Calvert-Lewin had scored that one-on-one, at 2-1 up and we'd have gone 3-1 up, and then it would have likely, for me, we'd have blown Leeds away, then it would have been 4-1, potentially even 5-1, because you go 3-1 up, in the first 15-20 minutes of the second half, and I think the Leeds United heads drop. Dom had another couple of chances that he could have converted. Seamus Coleman had one towards the end of the game where I think he makes the wrong decision, and it's little moments like that are the difference between taking a point away from home and taking all 3 points. And don't get me wrong, it was a good point against Leeds United. Obviously a very difficult side to play, a side of some real quality in there. We've seen obviously Rafinha, who again loves to score against Everton. That fella, I'm not too sure why, seems to be one of those players on that list that just always scores against Everton. But we knew it was always going to be a difficult afternoon. First game in front of, a packed out Ellen Road since Leeds returned to the Premier League. First game in front of a packed out Ellen Road in the Premier League for 15, 16 years, something like that. So we knew it was always going to be a challenge. We knew it was always going to be really difficult with obviously the fans, behind Leeds. But it was important that, not only the away end, but it was important that Everton went out and worked hard, and obviously the fans in the away end got behind them. I was one of those fans in the away end. I'm sure you can still tell by the voice, the croakiness of my voice. I still haven't quite recovered from it, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I didn't know, going away from home was so difficult in regards to being a fan. It doesn't half take it out of you because of the emotion and the constant singing and shouting and screaming. It was absolutely amazing. But like I said, it was always going to be a difficult game for Everton to get anything out of because of, the emotion behind it for Leeds fans. And I think we played quite well, to be honest with you. I do. I think we played well, other than a couple of mistakes which can be ironed out, which can be fixed, which can be, worked on. I think for the majority of the game, we were really, really solid. The midfield, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan, I thought were absolutely brilliant again on Saturday. Like I said, the forward line, we were creating chances. Demarai Gray was absolutely electric. Not only his goal, but his overall play in the entire game. He was absolutely brilliant from start to finish. I thought Alex Iwobi done okay. Richarlison was working hard. Dom obviously scored the penalty, but got himself in some good areas as well. And okay, maybe he should have converted a couple of other chances, but he was getting himself in those areas. And we are only 2 games into the season. Let's be real. This was our second Premier League game of the season, our first Premier League away game. So I don't think there's any need for, hysterics or overreactions or toys thrown out the pram, this, that and the other, because we are still very early on in the season. Let's not forget Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for example, hadn't had a pre-season. Obviously, he come in, last week against Southampton. He missed the Manchester United game due to a toe injury that he picked up. So there was even worry that he wouldn't be able to make the start of the Premier League season. When he did, he come in against Southampton. He got a goal. He's come in obviously against Leeds. He's got another goal as well. I'm sure he'll be given a rest for tomorrow's game against Huddersfield in the Carabao Cup. The preview to that game, by the way, will be out later, so don't forget to stick around on the channel a little bit later on today. We will be previewing Everton's Carabao Cup second round fixture against Huddersfield Town, which is tomorrow at 7:45, I believe. Obviously away from home. So again, like I said, it's a good point. All things considered, you go away to Leeds. If you'd have said to the majority of Evertonians at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, would you take a point here? Would you take a point away at Leeds and then get home and obviously go again on Tuesday and then on the weekend against Brighton? I think the majority of Evertonians would have said, yeah, we'll take a point. But again, like I said, it's one of those games where beforehand you take a point, but then after the game, after you've watched the chances that we've had, you sort of feel a little bit disappointed that we didn't take all 3. And how many of those games have we witnessed in our lifetime? I can't remember the amount of Merseyside derbies where I've sat there before the game and said, you know what, get out of this game with a point, I'll take a point here. And then after the game, because we've had so many chances to win it and we haven't converted them, you're sort of sitting there disappointed. And I can't lie, I am a bit disappointed that we didn't get all 3 points, because I think we had good chances on Saturday to to kill the game off. Certainly when we were 2-1 up, I think we had 2 or 3 really good chances to kill the game off. And had we had done that, had we had scored the 3rd, I think we'd have gone on and got the 4th. I think we'd have gone on and got the 5th, because we know what Leeds United are like. They're a very open side defensively, and once we scored that 2nd goal, once Demarai Gray got that 2nd goal, they opened up an awful lot, because they were exerting so much energy going forward trying to find the equaliser, that they left so much room defensively for Everton to exploit. And we did exploit that. We just couldn't convert those chances, and that's the disappointing thing. And we said it on Friday, didn't we? We sat here on the preview on Friday and said there's absolutely no doubt in anybody's mind that Everton will get chances against Leeds United. Leeds United will gift Everton chances, because they do to every single team. Leeds are a very good team going forward defensively. They're not a great side. Let's have it right. They're not a great side, and I know they done okay defensively last season. And I get that their stats and the statistics and stuff say different to that. But in regards to the chances that they allow teams to have, an awful lot of chances, and we knew that was going to be the case. We sat here on Friday and said that Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Moise Kean should have all been working on one-on-one finishes throughout the training sessions last week, because they were going to get chances this weekend. And Dom did. Dom got, another one of those one-on-one chances that, you put your house on a Premier League top-level striker scoring, and he didn't. And Dom is a Premier League top-level striker, by the way. I've seen some things on social media and Twitter, and even in the comments of the videos, it seems like you can only go one or two ways about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's either nowhere near good enough and shouldn't be anywhere near the team, or he's the best thing ever, and you can't criticise him. No, there is an in-between. Just because Dominic Calvert-Lewin missed the one-on-one opportunity that he should have scored on the weekend doesn't mean that he's not good enough to be our number 9. Of course he's good enough to be our number 9. This lad scored over 20 goals last season, over 16 goals in the Premier League. He's already scored 2 in 2 this season, which I think is better than this point last season. Obviously he scored against Tottenham on the opening day, but we went away to Palace and I don't think he scored in that game. So he's already scored 2 goals in 2 games this season. Yes, the goal against Leeds was a penalty, but what a penalty it was, by the way. What an absolute rocket of a penalty, which we'll go into talking about in a second. But you are allowed to criticise Dominic Calvert-Lewin like you're allowed to criticise any other player within the squad. And for me, I've watched the one-on-one back, and we'll talk about it, like I said, as we go into the review. And it is a little bit difficult. The keeper does come running out, and he comes and closes that space really well, to be fair to him. But you would expect Dominic Calvert-Lewin to be able to dink the ball over the keeper, or even go round him, and slot it past him. And that's the game then for me. That's the game won. That's the game, that's it, done and dusted. We come away with all 3 points. But look, again, like I said, not the end of the world. The point is a decent point against a difficult Leeds side. And obviously we go on now to Huddersfield tomorrow afternoon. And then, of course, the Brighton game at the weekend. So anyway, we will get into the entire game. We'll break it down as we do in all of these reviews. How are we all doing? We are live. If you're watching live in the live comments, get yourself involved in the comments. Let me hear what you have to think about everything that we're going to chat about. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. It only takes a second. And if you're enjoying, like I said, please do hit that big thumbs up button, because it means a massive amount to me as well. Basic Sig says morning my mate. Jason says morning Cam lad, morning fellow Everton fans, morning Jason. Alex says got a cup of tea and sat down to watch. Is right mate, me too. Glenn says Cam the man is right. Glenn. Alex says felt like we should have won that if Dom chipped the keeper. Well, there was a couple, to be fair. We had a couple of chances, and Dom had 2 or 3, didn't he? Dom had the one which got cut across the box and he took a shot, which I'm not going to blame him for, because he gets a good connection on it, and the keeper, let's be perfectly honest, the keeper gets lucky. He finds himself, just caught in between it, and it ends up landing in between his legs, I think. He doesn't really know anything about it, it just hits him. He obviously has the one-on-one, which, like I said, we'll go on to talking about in a moment. He had a header, which is, again, you'd put your house on him scoring 9 times out of 10. But we also had other chances. Michael Keane had a header in the last couple of seconds of the game from a corner, which, again, I haven't seen on the replay, but initially it looks like he should do better with it. It looks like he should get a stronger connection. And Seamus Coleman as well has a chance towards the end of the game. Seamus Coleman's on the edge of the box. He's got Richarlison in the box on his left-hand side, capable of cutting in on his right foot and curling one. Richarlison had the shot just beforehand where he curled one just wide. But with the Seamus Coleman chance, He's on the edge of the box. He's got, I think, Dominic Calvert-Lewin still on at this point to his right. He's got Richarlison to his left. And he decides to shoot from the edge of the box with his weak foot. Now, I love Seamus Coleman and I think he's amazing, but it's those decisions that, it's those decisions that are the difference makers between getting a point and getting all 3 points. Why is he taking that shot from the outside of the box? Maybe he saw the lights and thought, I'm going to blast this into the top corner and be an absolute hero. I just think he should have made a different decision there. Jason says, already a fan of Gray, carries the ball well. He may have a good sail on for in a good few years. Mate, he was amazing again yesterday, on Saturday, wasn't he? Absolutely amazing. We'll talk about Damari Gray a little bit later on in the stream. Danboy says, good point, Cameron, an excellent performance from the lads. Think every player had a good game minus Keane. Jason says, that VAR for Dom's penalty seemed to take ages. Was watching on Soccer Saturday, nervous for the decision. There you go. Danboy says, Dom's penalty was outstanding. Keeper needed to be 8 foot to save that rocket. Still wouldn't have saved it, mate. Tom Gibbons says he did score Vince Palsway. Okay, did he score Vince Palsway? I thought it was the Corey to score Vince. So he's equalled, because Richarlison scored the penalty, didn't he? So he's equalled the record that he had at this point last season. So he's already, he's already had a good start to the season. Eugene said Everton I saw move, and Thomas says, you confident for Brighton? Can see this being a good year. Yeah, I am confident for Brighton. Look a lot more offensive and exciting to watch, like in what I'm seeing. 31 shots in 2 games, 5 goals. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. The shots, the goals, like I said, 5 goals, 2 games is very, very, very impressive. So I am confident for Brighton. For me, it's just those defensive mistakes that we need to sort out. We need to, we need to, ultimately stop, because you can't be gifting goals away like we are at the moment. We've played 2 Premier League games now, and we've gifted effectively 2 simple goals away that could have been heavily avoided. The Rafinha goal the other day was a great strike, probably could have been avoided as well, but certainly Click's goal and obviously Armstrong's goal against Southampton, both very, very avoidable goals. Anyway, let's get into discussing the game then. So obviously the game kicks off and it's already quite a cagey affair. Leeds fans, to be fair to them, they were very, very, very loud, as were the Everton away end. By the way, if you hear any Leeds fans saying, oh, it was an awful away end, they're chatting absolute nonsense. But the Leeds fans, to be fair to them, were very loud. They were behind the team, as you would expect for, a selection of supporters who haven't watched their club in the top flight of football for 15, 16 years, something like that. So you would expect them to be behind the team. You would expect the atmosphere to be rife and to be very emotional. And it was. And like I said, the Everton away end were matching that for the support for the Everton players. And the game started, and like I said, it was very, very cagey straight away. Leeds were coming out the sticks fast, and you could see that they were trying to, I think, turn the game into one of those typical 3-4-5-1s that they had at times last season, and avoid what was last week against Manchester United. They were coming at us fast, they were getting forward, they were trying to create chances, and there was a couple of really sort of difficult challenges that went in the opening first 10 or 15 minutes that you were thinking, right, okay, this is going to be a long day. I remember looking at the match clock in the away end, and it was about 6 minutes in, and it felt a little bit like a Merseyside derby, when you're sitting watching and you feel like you've been watching for like 55 minutes, and you look at the match clock and you're like 4 minutes in, and you're just thinking, oh my god, this is already too difficult to watch, in the first 10 minutes. It was very fast paced, very cagey, very up and down. Everton had a really, really good chance early on. Damari Gray picking the ball up in the midfield and absolutely sprinting down that right hand side, plays an excellent ball across the box, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, seemingly from where I was sat, I haven't seen the replay, but seemingly from where I was sat, seemed about a toenail away from getting on the end of that and making it 1-0 to Everton. It was an absolutely excellent bit of play by Damari Gray. He was fantastic on Saturday, absolutely fantastic. Not only his goal, like I said, but his overall play brings something that we just don't have in this squad, and that's that directness. A player that's confident enough to pick up the ball and run at players, take players on, get into good areas. He's a good crosser of the ball, really good crosser of the ball. He proved that last week against Southampton, and he proved it on Saturday against Leeds. He can beat a man, he's quick, he's intelligent. And I was talking to Christian Hugel of BBC Newsbeat, Radio 1 Newsbeat, a couple of weeks ago. It was on BBC Radio 1, I remember we talked about it, and he's a Leicester fan, Christian, and Christian sat down with me and he was talking to me about Damari Gray, and he said as a Leicester fan he was one of the most frustrating players he'd ever watched, because he had everything. He had the pace, he had the power, he had the ability to beat a man, he had the ability to cross the ball, he could shoot, he could score goals, but he just never made the right decision at the right time. When he needed to cross, he passed it. When he needed to pass it, he crossed. When he needed to shoot, he didn't shoot. When he didn't need to shoot, he shot. When he didn't need to take a player on and he just needed to pass it, he tried to take the player on and he lost the ball. And we were talking about how, Demarai Gray at Leicester is a much different player to Demarai Gray now at Everton. At Leicester, he was a young lad still trying to find his feet, probably a little bit naive, probably a little bit cocky, thinking that he's playing for Leicester in the Premier League. Obviously, he won the league at Leicester, so all of that probably got on top of him as well. Whereas Demarai Gray now at Everton, he's a 25-year-old man. He's matured an awful lot in those 2 years that he's been away from Leicester. Obviously went over to Bayer Leverkusen, would have learned a lot over in Germany, even though he wasn't there for very long. He'd have learned a lot, and he's come back to Everton, I think, as a mature footballer who knows what he is, knows what he's capable of, knows what his role is within the team, doesn't think he's anything better or bigger than what he is, but also understands his quality and his ability to change games. And in the first 2 Premier League games that we've seen him in, he's been absolutely electric. I thought he was brilliant last week against Southampton, and he was my man of the match on Saturday, getting forward, beating players. His pace is just electric. Not many Premier League defenders will be able to keep up with that this season, but it's not just pace and no end product. He's got an end product. He can cross a ball. We saw, on Saturday, his goal is actually much better than people give it credit for, and we'll talk about it obviously later on when we talk about the goal. But his goal is very, very, very good for multiple different reasons, like I said, which we'll go into. But he crossed the ball, brilliant cross across the box, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think Richarlison slides in as well, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin just close to little bit too far away from getting to it, and the ball ends up going, I think, out the other side for the throw-in, or it's cleared by the Leeds defence. And that was the first sort of sign of, right, okay, we can expose this Leeds defence here. We can get forward, and we can seriously cause Leeds problems on the counter-attack. It was always just about whether we could keep a solid enough back line to ensure that they don't cause us problems coming forward as well. But that was the first sign of Demarai Gray getting in that area, putting a good ball in and threatening the Leeds United defence. Joshua has donated £4.49 to the live stream. Thank you very much, Joshua. Really appreciate that, my mate. He says, if you think we aren't playing better under Rafa than we did under Ancelotti, then you're deluded. We made more attack and play with Rafa in charge. Yeah, listen, again, I do think it's very, very early to start throwing comparisons out there. Look, again, I'm not going to try and rewrite history. Carlo Ancelotti was responsible for bringing Everton's first Merseyside derby win in a decade, first win at Anfield in 22 years. We won at Arsenal, which we haven't done for a long time. We won at Tottenham, which we haven't done for a long time. So I'm not going to sit here personally and try and rewrite history. And Carlo Ancelotti, got some really big results for Everton last season, but he also got some really horrific results, i.e., losing to Sheffield United at home, losing to Fulham at home, losing to Villa at home, losing to Burnley at home, losing to Newcastle at home. So, in the first one thing I would say about Rafa Benitez's first couple of games as Everton boss is exactly as Thomas Peckin said in the live comments: 31 shots in 2 games and 5 goals. It's much more promising than a lot of the performances we were seeing under Carlo Ancelotti last season, where we were having 5 shots in 2 games and we weren't really attacking and we were defended. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to try and rewrite history personally, but we're looking strong at the moment, and that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. It's just like I said, the little mistakes that need to be ironed out and need to be sorted out. And if we can sort them out, then I think we could be, we could have a really solid season ahead of us. But like I said, first sort of spell of danger from Demarai Gray, putting that ball across the box and creating that opportunity for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And then again, like I said, Leeds, as you would expect, coming forward, getting forward, throwing balls into the box. Yerry Mina was absolutely excellent at the weekend. Everything that come near him, he headed away. He is a ball magnet, Yerry Mina, isn't he? He is an absolute ball magnet. Every time the ball comes anywhere near him, he's just attracted to it. He's attracted to getting in away, clearing it, whether it's with his head, whether it's with his feet, whether it's with his bum, whether it's with his crotch area. It doesn't really, he's not bothered. All is his first point of call is if that ball comes anywhere near our goal, it's getting away. I'm getting it away. And that's why, for me, he's our best centre-half, Yerry Mina. Absolutely head and shoulders our best centre-half. Ben Godfrey is very good and probably very close, but he's still very young, Ben Godfrey, and I still think he's got a lot to learn. Yerry Mina, for me, is our best centre-half by by, again, I'm not going to say a long stretch, but you know, I think it's clear now to see. And we saw that on Saturday. We saw the difference in defensive performance on Saturday against Leeds compared to the week before against Southampton. Like I said, every time the ball come anywhere near Yerry Mina, he had it out. No matter what he cleared the ball with, whether it be his head, his foot, his crotch, like I said, he dealt with the danger, and he dealt with the danger really, really well. Obviously, he had his little kerfuffle with Patrick Bamford, and I actually think the decision to play Yerry Mina by Rafa Benitez was spot on, because I think if Mason Holgate had been in there next to Michael Keane, I think Patrick Bamford would have had a field day. I really, really do. I think Patrick Bamford would have watched that game against Southampton last week and thought, if these two start in the centre of the defence, I'm going to have an absolute field day here playing around them. But he didn't. Rafa Benitez threw Yerry Mina straight in, and that battle between Yerry Mina and Patrick Bamford was there for all to see, wasn't it? They were at it constantly all game, and that's why I love Yerry Mina so much. He's such a personality. He'll get in players' faces. He'll wind players up. Look at him in that situation where the ball's on the byline and he's trying to shield it, and he's over the top of it, and he's pushing himself into Patrick Bamford, and he's throwing himself about, and he's throwing his weight about, and then all of a sudden, obviously, you know, he ends up getting the ball to the side of the pitch, clears it forward. Bamford makes a little bit of maybe a late challenge, and he's straight back up, and he's not headbutting him, but he's putting his body into him, and in some sort of weird look like he was trying to give him a hug. But that's what he does, Yerry Mina. He winds players up, he gets in under the skin of attackers, and that's why he's so important to this Everton team, and that's why, part and parcel, one of the reasons as to why he's such a good centre-half. Obviously, his ability to clear the ball every time it comes anywhere near him, his ability in the air is excellent. His ability with the ball at his feet is much better than what people give him credit for. But one of the big things for me about Yerry Mina is that he winds attackers up. He gets under the skin of attackers. You can see him in games talking to centre forwards. Now, who knows what he's saying? He mightn't even be talking in English to the centre forwards. He might be talking in, Spanish, obviously, but it doesn't really matter, because you can see him winding attackers up. You can see him getting under the skin of the attack, and I think at the end, him and Patrick Bamford, I'm pretty sure it was him and Patrick Bamford, or it was Yerry Mina and another Leeds player, they had a massive embrace at the end of the game, and I think they had a massive hug at the end of the game, and you could see that that was a mutual respect for how difficult of a game that was, probably for both players. I think Yerry probably had a tough task at his hands. Patrick Bamford's a very good, very physical, centre forward. He showed that last season. He's a very good goal scorer as well. He got the assist, obviously, on Saturday, which we'll talk about in a moment. But for me, Yerry Mina is so important to this Everton team, not only because of his ability as a centre-back, but because of his ability to wind the opposition up and to get under the skin of the opposition and make himself a complete nuisance. That's what he does, Yerry Mina. He makes himself a complete nuisance. Michael Keane doesn't. Michael Keane almost makes himself like, yeah, you have the ball, you do what you want with the ball, I'll assist you. Mason Holgate just sometimes doesn't really seem to know what he's doing, whereas Yerry Mina always makes himself a nuisance, always makes himself a problem for centre forwards, and that's why I think he's so important to this Everton team. Like I said, he was brilliant at the weekend, and to be fair, Michael Keane started the game well as well. Before obviously the mistake, similarly to last week against Southampton, every time Michael Keane had to clear the ball, he dealt with it well. He got it out using his head on a couple of occasions. There was a couple of dangerous balls through in on the Leeds left hand side and right hand side, and Michael Keane dealt with them. And even balls coming across the box, Michael Keane dealt with them as well, really, really well. And obviously Everton get the break. We get forward. I think Luca Dean crosses the ball in. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. We will get back in the live comments in just a moment, so don't forget to get your comments in live if you are watching live, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. It only takes a second. We're flying towards 4.9k now, so if you could subscribe, that would mean a great deal to me. And like I said, if you're enjoying and you're watching live, hit the like button. But yeah, Luca Dean throws a ball in. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's being dragged everywhere by Cooper, everywhere, all over the floor. Dom goes down, he throws his hands up. The referee initially doesn't give anything. I think the ball goes out for a throw-in on the other side of the pitch. VAR's then having a look at it, but all in between all of this, again, as we've just spoken about Yerry Mina, getting under players' skin, getting in the face of players, frustrating players, not giving them an easy day at the office. Another player who we know is very much like that in this Everton squad, in this Everton team, is Richarlison. And if you actually watch when Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets taken down, dragged down, Dom's appealing for it. I think Luca Dean goes over and appeals for it. But Richarlison is constantly in the referee's face, pulling his shirt down, but effectively saying, you need to check that, that's a penalty. And that's what Everton need. Everton need more of those players that when a decision, when you can blatantly see a foul, when a foul happens on the pitch and the referee isn't seeing it, players crowding around the referees. Them lot got away with it for years. Years and years and years. That's all Steven Gerrard used to do at Liverpool. And Henderson does it now because he's learned from him. Every single time there's a dubious decision that may or may not go their way, they just crowd the referee and they effectively force him into making a decision. And the rules in the Premier League say you can't do that and you shouldn't do that anymore. It's also nonsense. Go and look at the top teams. Go and look at Man United. Go and look at Bruno Fernandes. Does it every week. Every single week. Every time a Manchester United player gets touched, even if it's a blatant dive in the box, Bruno Fernandes will be straight in the referee's face, screaming at him, shouting at him, saying, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul. Richarlison was doing it the other day. You could see him standing next to the referee, pulling his top down, saying he's ragged him down. It's a blatant foul. Now, obviously, VAR gave the decision and the referee went over and had a look at the monitor and gave the penalty. I do question as to whether or not that penalty decision would have been given if there wasn't such, if there wasn't such a reaction from your Richarlison, your Dominic Calvert-Lewin. If Dom had got up and just gone, whatever, and Richarlison wouldn't have done that, I question whether the referee would have made the decision, to be honest with you. But because, like I said, there was Richarlison was at the referee saying, no, that's a penalty because Dominic Calvert-Lewin was appealing for it. The referee obviously goes over to the monitor. VAR obviously instructs the referee to go over to the monitor. He goes over, he has a look at it for a minute or so, and he gives the penalty. And to be fair, it was the only decent decision he gave all day. For the rest of the game, he was effectively a Leeds fan, wasn't he? Really, he gave every decision to Leeds. He must have booked every single Everton player on the pitch for something at some point. But he gives the penalty, and it's a right decision as well when you watch it back. It's a blatant penalty. I'm not too sure what the defender's doing. I'm sure he'll have watched that back on Match of the Day and thought, what was I thinking? Then he completely rags him down, and it's a penalty all day long. And yeah, Dom steps up. The big question, obviously, that we spoke about in the season preview and in multiple videos recently was who takes our penalties now? Who steps up to take the penalties when needed? And I think I said, and I think a lot of people were at the view of, it's got to be Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Your penalty taker for me should be a striker. No point in having a centre midfielder taking a penalty. Or I know obviously Leighton Baines took our penalties for a long time, but Leighton Baines took our penalties at a time when, for the majority of the time he was on the penalties, we didn't have a decent striker on the pitch that was confident enough to take them. Yes, we had Lukaku later on in his career, but he was already the established penalty taker at that point. So for me, when you're looking for a penalty taker and when you're trying to decide who takes the penalties, it's got to be a striker. Dominic Calvert-Lewin could have won the Golden Boot last season had he have taken penalties for Everton. Now, Everton don't get many penalties a season anyway when you look at and you compare it to the likes of Manchester United who get, one every game. But I think I'm right in saying this, Dominic Calvert-Lewin was the top goal scorer in the Premier League last season for open play goals. He was certainly up there for open play goals. So there's not a chance that anybody in that team should be taking penalties other than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's the striker. He's trying to get his goal tally up. If we get penalties and he gets an opportunity to get another goal from 12 yards out, then he absolutely should be taking those. And as well, not only that, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin has proven before. He's proven for England. He's proven at youth level at Everton. But he also proved on Saturday not only why he should be taking penalties because he's the striker and to get his goal tally up, but why he should be taking penalties because he's probably the best penalty taker in the side. Absolutely amazing penalty. Like I said, it gets given by the referee. Dom steps up, takes a little bit of a long run up. Obviously, I'm sure the majority of Blues can agree with when I say this, is that my heart was in my bottom because it seemed like he took about 5 or 10 minutes after the referee had blown his whistle. He then does his little run up and he blasts it into the bottom right hand corner, keeper's right bottom left hand corner of the goal, and it's an excellent penalty, absolutely excellent penalty. It really, really is so well converted, and the goalkeeper Melia dives the right way, and he's a good goalkeeper, a really good goalkeeper, and he gets the right way, and he still gets nowhere near it because it's such pitch perfect into the bottom, into the bottom corner, and there was no chance he was getting anywhere near it. And obviously, like I said, fantastic penalty. Everton go 1-0 up. His celebration is arguably better than the penalty, to be honest with you. There was a lot of Leeds fans behind the goal giving him a bit of stick, trying to put him off, trying to obviously swayed his mind. I think there was even one fella who decided to get his stomach out and start rubbing his stomach. I'm not too sure why, but there you go. Tried to put Dominic Calvert-Lewin off that way, and the celebration was amazing. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a video going around on Twitter at the moment of a Leeds fan who'd recorded the penalty in the stand, and then obviously records the reaction of Leeds fans and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's celebration, and it's amazing. Firstly, he runs, he shushes the Leeds crowd. Secondly, he pointed his name because they were singing "Who the FNL are you?" I think at some point in the game, so he points at the back of his shirt, and then next to him and Yerry Mina do a little dance, and the fume is absolutely amazing. Inject that fume into my veins because that is absolutely fantastic. That video, go and watch it if you haven't seen it on Twitter. It's going around on Twitter of Dominic Calvert-Lewin's penalty from the Leeds stand. I don't know what the stand's called, but a Leeds fan recording it from the stand behind the goal, and it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It really, really is. It's brilliant. But anyway, we go 1-0 up, happy days, and you're thinking, right, okay, it's still early on into the game. Keep hold of this. Don't make any silly defensive mistakes. We knew Leeds were going to come at us. So for me, this was a point that we were thinking, right, okay, Leeds are going to fly at us now. This could be a chance for us to hit them on the counter-attack and get the second, get the third, kill the game off before half-time. We didn't have many chances after that. It was all Leeds. Leeds were coming forward. Leeds were trying to break. We had a bit of momentum after the penalty. Like I said, we were controlling the ball. Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré were excellent in the midfield. Absolutely fantastic in the midfield, picking the ball up whenever they needed to. Like I said, Abdoulaye Doucouré, again, every time the ball was in the air, he was first to it. Every time the ball was, on the floor, he was getting to it. Alan was hijacking everything. He's our little midfield maestro, isn't he? Getting to every ball, getting to every... every time the ball, a Leeds player's got the ball in the midfield, Alan was controlling it. I thought we won the midfield battle on Saturday, I did. And that was something we spoke about on Friday in the preview. It'd be important on who wins that midfield battle. We knew that Calvin Phillips would be back in the team, and Calvin Phillips is a very good player, and if you allow Calvin Phillips to dictate games of football, then more often than not, Leeds United come away with wins. But I don't think we did allow Calvin Phillips to dictate the game on Saturday. Don't get me wrong, there was a couple of times when he, he picked the ball up and he drove forward and he threatened us. But there was a lot of times when Alan just wasn't allowing, the Leeds United midfield to have any control of the ball whatsoever. He was getting to every time the ball was in the midfield, he was picking it up. He was chasing players down. There's a video again on Twitter of Alan chasing Patrick Bamford for about 35-40 yards down the pitch. It was right in front of us and winning the ball back, and it's amazing because you don't necessarily... There's a lot of times we've sat here on this channel and a lot of Evertonians sit here and say, Alan isn't necessarily the fastest player in the world. He's not the quickest. He's not going to beat players for pace, beat players in a sprint race. But he kept up with Patrick Bamford and he won the ball back. And Patrick Bamford isn't a slow striker. He's not the fastest striker in the world, but he's not slow. So Alan, like I said, I thought was absolutely brilliant. But obviously Leeds United are coming forward and you're sort of thinking, right, get into half-time, continue defending like we were, because at this point we were defending really, really well. Every ball that come into the box, was cleared well, either by Yerry Mina or Michael Keane. We weren't really massively under threat. Leeds were coming forward and getting balls into the box, but we were dealing with it confidently. And then obviously the mistake comes, doesn't it? Michael Keane, unfortunately, again, is at fault. I think a ball comes in from midfield and Michael Keane just completely misjudges the ball. He's out of position, firstly, which is the first big worry. He's miles out of position. And the second big worry is he doesn't get his foot on the ball. And the moment that Michael Keane doesn't get that ball under control is the moment that Everton are in real, real danger. Because Patrick Bamford is then running onto Yerry Mina, and you've got Click behind Patrick Bamford, who, for me, worse than the actual mistake by Michael Keane in terms of not controlling the ball and being found completely out of possession. Worse than that is if you actually watch the replay again and you slow it down, Michael Keane then doesn't default to thinking, right, I've been caught massively out of possession here. There's Patrick Bamford, he's got the ball, he's running at Yerry Mina, but Yerry Mina's there. Yerry Mina will slow him down, Yerry Mina will stand him up. Who's behind me? Is there any Leeds players behind me? Let me go and have a look, let me run and mark them. Because Matthias Click, I think it's Matthias Click, and Click just runs completely behind Michael Keane, and obviously ends up being the goal scorer, which is just so frustrating. Because if you actually look, Matthias Click, if you actually look at the positioning of Michael Keane, he looks directly at Patrick Bamford, he looks directly at Yerry Mina, and you can see that Yerry Mina is holding Patrick Bamford up, and instead of looking behind him and seeing Matthias Klich running off behind him and thinking, right, okay, I'm going to keep up with him, I'll mark him. He is attracted to Patrick Bamford, which is just so poor. That's for me is more worrying than the initial mistake, because not only does he make the mistake, but he's completely unaware of his surroundings and unaware of how out of position he is. If he takes one look over his shoulder, he sees Klich running on behind him, completely unmarked, and he goes, right, okay, I'll cut that ball out. I'll force Patrick Bamford into making a decision, taking a shot, trying to take on Yerry Mina. I'll force that decision to be made. And at this point, Patrick Bamford and Yerry Mina had already had a couple of little scuffles, so Patrick Bamford would have been well aware that taking on Yerry Mina isn't by any stretch of the imagination the easiest thing to do on a football pitch. But he doesn't. Michael Keane makes it so easily because he gets attracted to the ball, he gets attracted to Yerry Mina, and Klich just runs completely off behind him. Bamford plays the ball in, and obviously Klich slots it past Jordan Pickford, and it's 1-1. And again, you're sort of thinking, right, okay, we've let them back into the game here. To be fair, it wasn't like we were massively on top. I think in the entire game we had something like 27% possession or something like that. If we had 30% possession, then, you know, I'll be surprised, to be honest with you. So it wasn't like we were absolutely dominating the game. It wasn't like we were absolutely, again, Leeds United weren't in the game whatsoever. Leeds were in the game. They were getting forward. They were trying to create chances, and they were making it difficult for Everton. They were, and obviously, like I said, they got the equaliser. And at that point, obviously, the crowd then woke up. You know, seeing some Leeds fans having a go at the Everton crowd for not waking up. When Everton went 1-0 up, you'd think the stadium had emptied out. But the crowd obviously woke up, got on the side of Leeds, and then it was sort of a case of just seeing the game out till half time, I think, and ensuring that we don't get caught on the, snoozing. We don't get caught going 2-1, 3-1 down at half time. It was all about sort of seeing the game out. Like I said, Everton were trying to get forward, trying to create chances. We were breaking forward. Demarai Gray got forward on a couple of times. Abdoulaye Doucouré had a shot from outside the box which was dragged wide. Richarlison had one where he got to a good area and he just hesitated the shot. He had another, I think, where he shot from about 30-40 yards out. Keeper made the save and went out for a corner. The corners weren't great. On the weekend, I said it in the player ratings, Luca Dean, again, I thought he had a good game, a really solid game defensively, and he was getting forward and, throwing balls into the box, but set pieces, corners, I think were really, really disappointing. More often than not, they didn't beat the first man, and they were very, very, very easily defendable for Leeds United, and I just don't think that's good enough, to be honest with you. I don't think that's good enough. But anyway, like I said, we see the game out. Leeds probably the team on top towards the end of the game, end of the half, sorry. And, Everton, like I said, we're still threatening, we're still getting forward, we're still showing that we can cause Leeds harm, cause Leeds, problems defensively, but really, really disappointing that we'd give away such a silly goal. Again, similarly to the game against Southampton at the weekend, we're giving away goals that are completely unavoidable. It's not like, the Rafinha goal, look, again, maybe it could have been avoided, but it was a great strike. I'm not going to sit here and say it was an awful Everton defensive mistake. It come to him and it was a great strike. The Klich goal is a shocking defensive mistake, as is Adam Armstrong's goal last week for Southampton. And it's those mistakes that we need to iron out. And it's not the end of the world, because we're not turning up and getting battered and playing awful football. We're actually playing some really good football. We're having shots. We mightn't have as much possession, but I'm not really arsed about possession, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I don't care if we end the game on 5% possession, as long as we win the game or we get something out the game and we're actually looking at a threat going forward. That's all that matters for me. Possession is a nonsense. Possession is a nonsense. I'm not one of these people that is stressed on having 60-70% possession, even if you lose the game, as long as you've had the most possession. No, it's not about that. We had whatever it was, 27% possession at the weekend. We could have won the game 4-5-2, and we wouldn't be sitting here going, yeah, but we didn't have a lot of possession. We wouldn't be bothered. It's about the shots, and Everton have had a lot of shots in the first couple of games. We scored 5 goals in the first couple of games, but it's also about, like I said, ironing those silly mistakes out. It's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing. We've still got Ben Godfrey to come back into this Everton team, who I think will be a welcomed addition. We've got Yerry Mina, obviously, there, who hopefully can stay fit throughout the rest of the season. And if Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey can create a solid partnership, then I think, I think those mistakes will naturally be ironed out. But we go in 1-1 at half time, and you're thinking, right, okay, being a lively first half, probably a fair result at half time, given how lively the first half has been. But there was that hope that Everton could go out and, like I said, expose Leeds United's defence on the counter attack and go and and go and get the second and then hopefully the third and the fourth in the second half. And we could have done that, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's get into the live comments then before we do. If you're enjoying this scene, by the way, please hit that like button. It only takes a second, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Glenn says, win your home games and draw your away games equals Europe. Yeah, absolutely. If you win all your home games and draw all your away games, you win the league, do you know? I think. Well, you're certainly close to winning the league. You're up there anyway. Alex says, opinions on Rafa, I'm really impressed. He has us attacking while we're winning, whereas Carlo would have everybody in our half at 1-0. Yeah, there you go. Danboy says, if we sign Matthias Cunha, I'll be over the moon. I think that's how you pronounce it. Jab says, Townsend, Damari, Richie, DCL and Decore need resting tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure they will be. Like I said, we will be doing the game review ahead of Everton's second round Carabao Cup fixture against Huddersfield. That'll be up later on today. We'll do our predicted starting 11. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about, obviously, the players that'll have a little bit of a rest. Obviously, big game against Brighton at the weekend as well. Brighton started the season really, really well. 2 wins. So, again, you might look at it and go, oh, that's an easy game. Brighton are looking good at the moment. Where are we? Philip says, hi all, up the F and Soffies is right. Richard says, glad we now have a manager who picks the team on form and merits and isn't interested in having favourites. There you go, interesting. Joshua says, the subs Rafa did versus Southampton was spot on. James says, Rafa is more attacking than Carlo. Maybe he is. Like I said, we're only a couple of games in. So, again, we'll wait and see how the season progresses. But at the moment, we do see him a lot more, we see him a lot more fluent going forward. We see him a lot more, attacking. That rumour, by the way, is from Max, the Cunha rumour is from Max Bielfeld of Sky Sports, who said agreements in principle between Hertha and Atletico for the transfer of Matthias Cunha. Hertha accepted 30 million plus bonuses. Nothing is signed though. Everton tried to hijack the deal in the last hours, but the player prefers a move to Spain. So there you go. Interesting, very, very, very interesting. Apparently, according to various different sources, Everton have been pushing for the striker over the last few days, and the Brazilian likes Everton. Nothing signed as of yet. Interesting. We'll wait and see how that one progresses over the next few hours or so. Pardon me. Barry says we are more attacking compared to the halfway to end of last season, but we started well last season too. Hopefully we maintain it. No injuries and high level of fitness. Yeah, let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. Does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Why not? Join in the crew, the party. I don't know. Just join in the Mighty Blues with a little subscribe. Joshua said, if you can sort that defence out, we can be a team to watch out for. He also says, Ancelotti inspires us wins against teams we would otherwise lose, but he was born to watch. Alex says, Mina has proved to us today and last season that he's our best centre-half. Yeah. Glenn says, how many games until we can judge Arteta at Arsenal and Rafa at Everton? I think some Arsenal fans are still judging. I currently judging Arteta at Arsenal, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of them that want him sacked. Danboy says, Arteta has been in Arsenal for nearly 2 years. Rafa has been in Everton for 2 months. He says, Danboy also says, Mina needs a new deal ASAP. Same old Everton, what's happening, mate? He says, good point to take against the good Leeds United side. Yeah, it was a decent point, all things considered. I'd agree. Glenn says, what timescales do we need for each? There you go, Dan answers. Jason says, you could say Arsenal and us are at the same level now. Worst ref we've had in for ages, says Alex. I'd agree. Big Nos says, it just proves how poor the officials are. That pen would have not been given if VAR didn't exist unless you wear red. Danbury says, Dom's penalty technique is superb. Richard said, our best penalty takers were left backs, Baines, Underwood, Hinchcliffe. They were, but for me, if you're looking for a penalty taker and your striker's confident and wants to take them and has proven in training and in other games that he can take them, then your striker should be taking them. Danbury says, I honestly can't see James, James or Keane getting in the team. Well, obviously, Moise Keane only got a couple of minutes, didn't he, at the end of the game the other day, and he didn't really look interested, personally. Yeah, we just read that one out. DFC Kelly. Danbury says, Gunnar, Gray, Richie, DCL would be an insane front three. EFC Kelly says, just don't get where the money is coming from unless someone has gone. Yeah, again, I think that's probably why, Everton are just merely interested at the moment. For £30 odd million for a player, we can't, unless we sell somebody I just don't think we can spend that much money, to be honest with you. I don't. So, again, I agree. I don't really see where it's coming from. Danway says, Alan and Decore really starting to work well together. Big Nose says, Decore and Alan are like 2 new signings so far this season, spot on. And Glenn says, if anything, the stomach rubbing was lucky for Dom. The guy was built like, yeah. No, yeah, again, maybe it was. Maybe it was lucky for Dom. He ended up burying the penalty anyway, didn't he? So, there you go. Anyway, we get into the second half. Obviously, we come out again, like I said, attacking the away end now. So you automatically, obviously, the away end was bouncing. It was bouncing all game, but specifically bouncing when we were attacking down that side, because obviously the players could feel that energy. And again, Everton were getting forward. We were trying to create chances. It was a really cagey affair. Leeds were getting up the other end and throwing balls into the box, but Everton were again dealing with them well. And we get forward early on into the second half. Ball comes in. I think Abdoulaye Doucouré tries to play a pass in. It comes back to him, and he plays a good ball into Damari Gray, who, again, as I said, a couple of reasons as to why this goal is absolutely fantastic for me. Firstly, the ball's behind him when it hits him. So it's not played directly in front of him. So if it was played directly in front of him, you'd say, good finish. He got it under control, he shot. It's not. It's actually played behind him. He brings the ball in front of him. He takes a lovely step over. He megs the defender and he puts it beyond the goalkeeper. And the reason he puts it beyond the goalkeeper is because the goalkeeper's blindsided by probably his defender, to be fair, into not knowing where Damari Gray is going to put the ball. But more importantly for me, and I'm more impressed with, for me, is the fact that, again, a little bit like last week with Abdoulaye Doucouré's goal, I compared it on the instant match reaction. The ball with Abdoulaye Doucouré, you're sort of looking at it thinking, oh, there's the chance gone. He's cut inside, then he cuts back on his outside and he whips it absolute wildly into the top corner. With the Damari Gray's goal on Saturday, you're sort of thinking, oh, it's behind him. He's going to find it difficult to get this under control, and then when he does, the defender will probably stick a foot in. But he doesn't. He gets it under control quickly, and that's what we need. When we're attacking and when we're getting forward, whether it be Dominic Calvert-Lewin, whether it be Richarlison, whether it be Damari Gray, whether it be Anzos Townsend, James Rodriguez, Alex Iwobi, whoever it may be, we need players that get the ball out their feet quickly. When it's behind them, they get control of it and they get it in the right area. They switch it. They turn situations where you might think, oh, that opportunity's gone there, into, no, it's still alive. And that's what Damari Gray did. He caught the ball behind him, he got control of it, he brought it back in front of him, he got himself into a good shooting area. It's still a really, really, really difficult goal to score that, because not only has he got a defender right in front of him, but he's at such a tight angle. Like I said, he gets it in front of him, gets it under control, couple of step overs, gets it under the defender's legs, right into the back of the net, and it's a fantastic finish for me by Damari Gray. Obviously, you could see the emotion in his face, you could see the emotion in himself when he scored. He screamed straight away, he went straight to the away end. He tried the knee slide, it didn't really work, but who cares? We're 2-1 up. 10-15 minutes into the second half, we've gone and got that second goal, and you're thinking, right, brilliant, go out there now, get the third. And like I said, excellent finish by Damari Gray. Excellent finish by Damari Gray. Gets it out of his feet really, really well. He gets it under control and he gets the shot at goal. And again, like I said, it breezes past the goalkeeper and we're 2-1 up. He runs to the crowd. Knee slide wasn't quite great, turned into sort of a somersault really, but it was just amazing. Celebrating with the players there. We were literally only a few rows up, so we were basically on eye level with the players, and it was just absolutely amazing. It was absolutely amazing to see the atmosphere, the crowd. Then Leeds fans were quite lively. At the start of the second half, as you would expect, they'd gone into half time. Probably the more attacking side, the side that looked more likely to go and get the third goal in the game. And they come out in the second half, and Everton have killed that straight away, killed that momentum, killed that emotion, because we've gone out and we've got the second goal. And it was an excellent finish by Damari Gray. And like I said, the crowd was just, the crowd was all over it. And we got a Damari Gray chance out of it. Which is amazing. I'm not gonna sing it in great depth today, but I'm sure you will have heard it if you would have watched the game on Match of the Day, or if you'd have been at the game. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was brilliant. And we got a chant for Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well, which is fantastic as well. I'm sure you would have heard that if you were at the game, or we were talking with Toffee TV, weren't we, about getting a chant for Dominic Calvert. Oh, Dom Calvert-Lewin. Oh, it was amazing. Ringing out for the entirety of the stand. The Demarai Gray one was amazing as well. There was a couple of Demarai Gray ones, to be fair. There was a couple of different renditions, to be honest with you. They were both amazing. They were both absolutely amazing. So yeah, fantastic goal. Obviously the celebration was funny to see as well. But you could see how much it meant to Demarai Gray to get that first goal in an Everton shirt. You could see how much it meant to him. You could see the emotion on his face to obviously to like I said, to score that first goal in Everton blue. And then, yeah, like I said, that, you know, we're 2-1 up. The momentum is completely switched at that point. That, you know, the Leeds fans are again a little bit quiet. They were still, you know, singing and supporting the team, of course, but that emotion, you know, that emotion, I suppose, that excitement had calmed down a little bit. The away end was absolutely bouncing. You know, for the rest of the game from that point on. But certainly when that second goal went in, it was bouncing. And the Everton players, you could see, were feeding off of that. They were feeding off of that energy. They were feeding off of that excitement. They were feeding off of that, you know, that atmosphere. And we were getting forward. And all of a sudden, we were the team that, again, were pushing Leeds United, pegging them back. They were struggling. They were struggling to win the midfield battle. They were struggling to deal with us defensively. And, yeah, it become all of a sudden Everton were on top. Everton were the team that you were and at this point you're sort of thinking, right, we're 2-1 up, but yeah, there's a spell of momentum now. And I said this in the instant match reaction, Everton always seem to have spells of momentum, and it's important. Every team does in football, but it's important that when you're in that spell of momentum, you make it count. You create chances and you score, so that when that momentum sort of fades away 15, 20 minutes, you know, after it's originally started, you're already 2-3-4-1 up, so the game's done and dusted. Everton, I think, make the mistake too many times of having that spell of momentum where we're the team on top, where we're getting forward, where we're breaking forward, where the opposition team just can't cope with us, but we don't make the most of it. We don't score. We don't create chances in there. And I think if we'd have made the most of that momentum, we created chances. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who we'll talk about in a second, unfortunately, you know, couldn't convert them. If we would have, I think it could have been 3-4-1 up. You know, with 15, 20 minutes to go, and it would have been game, set and match. It would have been done and dusted. Leeds wouldn't have been able to get back in the game because the heads would have dropped, and I think Everton would have come away with a big win. But unfortunately, we didn't. Like I said, 2-1 up. We're getting forward. We're a much more attacking side. If you're enjoying, by the way, hit that like button. Only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button as well. It means a massive amount to me. And all of a sudden, like I said, Alex Iwobi plays a brilliant ball into Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And fair play to Alex Iwobi, by the way. I've seen Alex Iwobi getting a lot of stick on social media after the game the other day. Listen, he wasn't massively in the game. I think we can all admit that. But he played some really good, really important balls. And that was one of them. That pass to Dominic Calvert-Lewin just completely and utterly split the defenders in half. And like I said, Dom should be doing better than that. Before this chance, there was another one where I think Alex Iwobi plays a good ball into the box. I think it's Iwobi again. Plays a good fizzed ball into the box. Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets on the end of it, takes the shot really quick. And as I said earlier on, I think the goalkeeper is just caught. I think if Dom goes left or right at the goalkeeper, it's in, but it just sort of hits the goalkeeper and he finds himself landing on top of the ball. Quite lucky really from the goalkeeper. I don't think he really knows much about the situation. But the one-on-one just after it, so that was the first chance where you're thinking, okay, not the easiest chance, good opportunity, maybe he should have scored it, but you know, again, it's not the easiest chance. The goalkeeper's quite lucky in the fact that he's there and it's him. The one-on-one for me is the big one. Plays in, like I said, Alex Iwobi plays a brilliant ball in, completely and utterly just destroys the two centre-backs, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets one-on-one with the keeper. What I would say in defence of Dominic Calvert-Lewin is Meslier gets out really quick. He does. He closes that space really well, to be fair to him. And again, I'm not excusing him, because I was one of the fans on the instant match reaction, and I still am of the view that Dom has to be scoring those chances. Dom simply has to be converting those opportunities. That was the winner. The Demarai Gray's goal wasn't the winner, because we were always going to come under immense amounts of pressure from Leeds in the last 20, 25, 30 minutes of the game. We were always going to come under immense amounts of pressure. We always knew that Leeds would get forward and try and find that equaliser, and obviously ultimately they did. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores that one-on-one to make it 3-1 up while we've still got the momentum on our side, that's the winner. that's the winning goal of the game, because I honestly think then it goes 3-1. I think we get another opportunity, we convert that, it's 4-1, and then it could be, like I said, the cricket score at that point. But once it goes 3-1, it's game over. It's game, set, and match for me. And like I said, credit to the goalkeeper. He comes out and he closes the space. But when you watch it again, it just becomes more and more frustrating, doesn't it? Because there's multiple different things that Dominic Calvert-Lewin could do in that situation. He could have chipped the goalkeeper, because Meslier is effectively on the floor before he gets to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So Dom could have just dinked it over him. He could have gone round him and either gone round him and slotted it or won a penalty. We've seen Dom do it before, you know, where he's sick goalkeepers, he's gone round and he's won penalties. And yeah, and like I said, or he could have just put all his power through it and tried to squeeze it through. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to be honest, what it was. I don't know what it is with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Again, it's so easy to say, he can't deal with those situations under pressure, but I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right, to be honest with you, because he dealt with the penalty fantastically well. You know, his run up was you know, he was waiting for 20-30 seconds after the referee had blown his whistle to take the penalty. All of that pressure from the Leeds crowd, from the Leeds fans in the home end, even from the Everton away end, who obviously were obviously anticipating, you know, and waiting and seeing what the penalty was to you know, what the outcome was to be. And Dom dealt with that pressure brilliantly. He slotted the ball into the bottom corner fantastically well. No goalkeeper would have saved it in the world. It was a brilliant penalty. Like I said, Meslier is a good goalkeeper and dived the right way and still got nowhere near the ball whatsoever. And it was a brilliant penalty, and he dealt with that situation under an immense amount of pressure. So I don't know whether it is pressure. I don't know whether it's just composure, whether it's just decision making. I don't know. I don't know whether he panicked in that situation, or he panics in those situations where he gets the ball one-on-one and he sort of thinks, right, okay, I've just got to hit it towards goal here. But I think if he makes a different decision, if he thinks, right, okay, I'm going to dink this over the goalkeeper, or I'm going to go round him. You know, he's come out, he's closed the space, I'm going to go round him and open the space again and then slot it. It's those key moments that, again, are the difference between winning games and not winning games. And I'm not going to sit here and go in on Dominic Calvert-Lewin and have a go at him and start. I've seen some people going, this is why he's not good enough to be our number 9. This is why this nonsense, absolute nonsense for me. He is good enough to be our number 9. He's a brilliant striker, and I think Dom will break. I think Dom will break his Everton record again this season. I think he'll score more than 20 goals this season, and I think he might even hit 20 in the Premier League, given that he's taking penalties now. So you can excuse, you know, again, a couple of missed opportunities, and I get that, and I'm not sitting here massively having a go at Dom, but I just think he has to do better in those situations. And we've known that. This isn't a one-off for Dom. This isn't, you know, he's missed a one-on-one, but 9 times out of 10, he buries them. That's his sort of kryptonite, if you like. It's those opportunities that are, you know, give him a header, you know, throw a ball into the box and give him a difficult header, he'll score it. Even, you know, goals where, again, you're sort of thinking, how's he got in from there? But one-on-ones in front of goalkeepers, he just struggles with. And like I said, it's I don't think it's pressure, because he dealt with the penalty situation under massive amounts of pressure. I don't know if it's just composure. I don't know if it's just confidence. I don't know if it's just panic, decision making, whatever it is. He just needs to work on that now, because if Dominic Calvert-Lewin can work on that and can nail that down in scoring those opportunities, then he is one of the best strikers in the Premier League, and therefore one of the best strikers in world football. But he needs to work on that. Anyway, like I said, goalkeeper rushes out, makes a good save, goes out for a corner. We had another couple of opportunities after that. Dom has a header, which, again, I think he heads down 9 times out of 10. You bet on him scoring. Probably is a little bit more of a difficult opportunity than what I'm giving it credit for. You know, goalkeeper makes a save. Michael Keane has a header in the last few minutes of the game. Corner comes in, really good corner. Michael Keane gets a good connection on it, but again, it's straight at the goalkeeper. Makes a comfortable save. Leeds at this point, obviously, are coming forward. You know, again, that spell of momentum has sort of died down a little bit for Everton. You know, we'd had the chances, we hadn't converted them, and Leeds were sort of thinking, right, last 10 or 15 minutes, their crowd were getting behind them. You could see that they were obviously destined for an equaliser, and at this point it was going to go one or two ways. They were either going to get the equaliser, or they were going to leave so much space open defensively that Everton were going to break and hit them on the counter-attack, and obviously make them pay for those defensive mistakes. They didn't, obviously. Ball comes into the box, it's bouncing around, it comes to Rafinha, and as soon as it comes to Rafinha, you knew the outcome, didn't you? You just knew the outcome, because that lad loves scoring against Everton. He absolutely loves scoring against Everton. And as soon as it fell to him, you just knew this is going into the back of the net here. He takes a shot, and to be fair, when you see it again on the replay, it's a very good effort. Jordan Pickford's blindsided completely by the players in front of him, so you can't blame Jordan. And he rifles it into the corner of the net, and all of a sudden you're thinking, right, okay, 2-2. Again, we could have killed the game off at this point, but don't go and lose the game now. Don't allow them to get down the other end and go and score a third, go and score a fourth, go and win the game. At least come away with a point. And again, even more frustrating, we had chances at 2-2 to go win the game. We had chances at 2-2 to come away with all 3 points, and we didn't take them. I think at that point, obviously, Rafa Benitez had made a couple of substitutions. He brought Andros Townsend on. He brought Fabian Delph on, which I think was a little bit of just to shore the game out and come away with a point. Obviously, he brought Moise Kean on in the last couple of minutes. Moise Kean didn't really do an awful lot, did he? In my opinion, he didn't look like he was interested. Didn't look like he wants to run around at all, but maybe some people have a different opinion on that. But yeah, like I said, it's, again, Leeds United are trying to get forward, trying to, find the winner. I think Fabian Delph, to be fair to him, makes an excellent challenge in the last couple of minutes of the game, throws himself in the way and makes a brilliant sliding challenge, proper old school sliding challenge to avoid a Leeds United cross coming into the box. And yeah, again, Everton defended relatively well after the second goal coming, dealt with everything that come into the box. Jordan Pickford, I think, had to make a couple of big saves, but again, saves you'd expect them to make. And then Everton are coming up the other end still. Like I said, we had that corner with Michael Keane gets on the end of and should do better. And then we had probably the the biggest chance at the end of the game, which is the Seamus Coleman one, which again, maybe I'm looking a little bit too much into it, but I just think Seamus should do better. I really, really do. I think Seamus should do better, and the reason for that is because Seamus is such an experienced player. He's been at Everton for over a decade now. He's played at the top level of Premier League football for over a decade as well. Sorry, a little bit of a tickly throat. Still trying to recover, to be honest, from Saturday. Not what you think it might be. I've had a negative test and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, Seamus gets the ball on the edge of the box, and you've got Richarlison one side. You've got, I think, Dominic Calvert-Lewin still in the picture at the other side, and Seamus takes the shot with his weak foot, and you're sort of thinking, why couldn't you have just made why couldn't you have played it to Richarlison and allowed him? Obviously, Richie had the shot as well before it, which just went wide. And yet Everton end up seeing the game out, and it ends 2-2. Very cagey affair, very feisty affair. I think excellent game of football, probably for the neutral to watch. High scoring game, which we expected. And again, that, like I said, you take a point at Ellen Road against the Leeds United side with a full crowd behind them. You take a point. You really, really do take a point. But given the circumstance and given the game and the chances that we had, I am disappointed that we didn't come away with all 3 points. I can't sit here and lie. Listen, again, a point's not the end of the world, and I'm not sitting here crying about it or losing any sleep about it. A point against Leeds away is a decent result. It's not a bad point whatsoever. There'll be a lot of sides, top sides, that go away to Ellen Road this season and find it difficult to win the game of football. A lot of sides will go in and take a point. But given the chances that we had, certainly at 2-1 up, you're sort of thinking, it feels like a missed opportunity. If you were to have to ask me, is it 2 points dropped or 1 point gained, I'd have said it's 2 points dropped more so. Listen, Leeds are a good side, and obviously they had their chances, and maybe their fans would feel a little bit different. But for me, I just think we had opportunities to win that game, and I think we should have won the game. But ultimately, look, like I said, all things considered, a good point. I thought Alan in the midfield was absolutely outstanding. I thought Abdoulaye Doucouré was brilliant. I thought Yerry Mina was fantastic all game. Seamus Coleman, I thought, other than that chance at the end of the game, I thought he had a decent game. Same with Luca Dean on the left. Again, like I said, Damari Gray, absolutely unbelievable Damari Gray. All game, man of the match for me. Again, Richarlison worked hard, Dom worked hard, maybe could have been a bit better, but both worked hard. And yeah, you take the point, you come away with it. Another 2 goals, 5 goals in 2 games now. Obviously, we go on to tomorrow's game against Huddersfield in the Carabao Cup, and then we've got Brighton in the Premier League at the weekend. Difficult game, but again, another one where we should be looking at going and winning, even despite Brighton's good form at the start of the season. But, like I said, Huddersfield next. which is the most important game because it's the next game. We will be back with the game preview a little bit later today to that game, so don't forget to look out for that one. We'll be giving our predicted start at 11, talking about who we think will start in that game as well, so don't forget to look out for that one. Let's get in the live comments before we finish up then. Let us know before we finish up, how do you feel about the game? Do you feel like it's 2 points dropped, 1 point gained? How do you feel? Let us know. Glenn says, I don't think anyone could save that pen. I love the side net and placement. Yeah, it was amazing, mate. It was amazing. Danby says, can we talk about the fact DCL made Southgate look very silly with that penalty on Saturday? Listen, Dom should have been on one of the penalties in the Euros final. We know that. We know that anyway. If you're enjoying, by the way, hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Big Nos says, Keane's liability, his awareness and position is woeful. We need to sell him now if there are any takers. Well, I think it's clear that our centre-back partnership that we need to be going with for the season is Ben Godfrey and Yerry Mina. I think that's clear now. When Ben Godfrey is fit and back in the team and ready to play, I think it'll be him and Yerry Mina that are the partnership going forward, as it should be. Tom says, let's get to 45 likes. Listen, if we could get to 45 likes, it would mean a massive amount to me. 60 people watching. If you could hit that big thumbs up button, that would be great. Danway says, we have to get either McNeil or Cunha. Again, I like McNeil. I think he's a brilliant player. Technically, I just question whether he's quick enough for this Everton team. I do. Alex says, cut your losses on Michael Keane. You can only cut your losses if somebody's interested in coming in for him. Nobody might be interested in coming in for him. Glenn says, is Keane going to be 4th choice? Or 5th if we get a centre-back. I know he has a high ceiling when he is confident. When his confidence is high. But his floor is so low. Yeah, again, he's a confidence player, and with confidence players, unfortunately, you can't really rely on them. One day, Michael Keane might be absolutely unbelievable. Who knows? Michael Keane might turn up again, might play against Brighton next weekend and be absolutely fantastic, and we're all sitting here saying, when he's good, he's really good, and he is. When Michael Keane's good, he's really good, but when he's bad, he leaks goals and he makes mistakes, and unfortunately you can't have that type of inconsistency if you're wanting to challenge for the European places. Danby says, hope Branthwaite gets some minutes this season. Yeah, might see if obviously he's recovering from an injury featured. I think he's been on the bench, hasn't he, the last couple of times, so yeah. Hopefully maybe start against Huddersfield tomorrow. Sam says, not an Everton fan, but truly speaking, Everton is a team to look out for this season. Is right, Sam. Glenn says Keane is a big liability. I'd attempt to swap him with McNeil. I don't think they'd take that. Thomas says, Cam, seen tweets about people loaning on our possession. Absolutely nonsense. We look far more likely to score than Leeds. We're not set up for pass. Yeah. Spot on. Jack says, Leeds fan here. Thought Saturday was a good game between two decent sides. Great DCL and Decore, I thought were good for you. Yeah, I'd agree, mate. I'd agree. John says, I am pleased with the first 2 games. Much more fight and pace. Yeah. Jack the lad says, how can you say Moise Keane didn't look interested? Because I just feel like when he come on, he just didn't really listen. He done a bit of running around and he got about, but I just think for the time he was on the pitch, he should have been absolutely busting a ball. And listen, to be fair to Moise Keane, he was given 2-3 minutes at the end of the game. That is frustrating. I get it. It's frustrating. He must have been absolutely frustrated at that. But Moise Keane will start tomorrow, in my opinion, because Dom will get a rest because he hadn't had a pre-season anyway. Richarlison will get a rest because obviously he's played so much football. Moise Keane will start tomorrow, so this is Moise Keane's opportunity to go out and show why he deserves to be a part of this Everton side. Or, even if he doesn't want to be a part of this Everton side, go and show why you deserve to get a move to somewhere else. Huddersfield, again, decent side, but he's got, if Moise Keane starts this game, I'm expecting a goal, maybe even 2 goals. Go and show why you're good enough to play for a Champions League side if that's what you want. Alex says, this season we should give Branthwaite multiple opportunities to show how good he is. Yeah, well, let's wait and see. He had a bad injury at the end of last season, didn't he? When he was on loan at Blackburn. John says, better to bring on the reserves when we have already not won in the cup games because we already get knocked out doing that. Jack says, so now you want Hammers in the lineup. Only the other day you were slaying him. You're a two-faced kid. Me? I don't know if you're talking about me there, but I haven't mentioned having Hammers in the lineup once. But there you go. Sam says, would love to see Benitez versus Moyes. Free Roll says, when did he say he wants him in the lineup? Yeah, mad. Basic Zig says, Godfrey ripping his knees loud on Insta was funny. Yeah, Mr. Silky says, hi Cam, what do you think we need to try and get in the top 6? What do you think we need to try and get in the top 6/8? Consistency, mate. We just need consistency. Again, ability to win the games of football that we expect to win and get points out of the games that maybe are a little bit more difficult, i.e., Leeds away at Ellen Road. A point is better than none, I suppose. Yes, it would have been nice to get all 3 if we'd have taken our opportunities, but a point isn't a bad point in any stretch of the imagination. Jack the lad says he clearly just said if it comes to DCL, Richie, James, Townsend, Gray, the kid's two-faced. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I really don't know what you're talking about, fella. But there you go. Danby says, what are the new chance count? The Marty Gray one is in, so... is the Damari Gray one. That's that again, I'm not going to sing it in case it's some song and I get copyright, and I sang the Dominic Calvert-Lewin one before. Paul says, in Tenerife, watching, found a pub for the game tomorrow. Is right, my mate, is right. Love all of that. John says Alex was a second right back. 1 week he's slating Hammers next. I don't know if you're talking about me, mate, but I really don't know what you're talking about. So there you go. Where are we? Thoughts of Iwobi was outstanding, says Dan. Fair enough. Alex says people criticise Iwobi and say he needs to perform well, but when he does, they say he's not good enough and bring his confidence down. I thought he was decent the other day, Iwobi. His pass to Calvert-Lewin for the one-on-one was absolutely amazing. John says no striker converts every chance. The key is to make more chances for him. Yeah, spots on. Dan says, to be honest, the Dom sitter was an excellent save. There wasn't any space to put the ball because of the keeper. Meslier is a top keeper. No, I'd agree. He come out really well, Meslier, and like I said, when I seen it again on the replay, you see, okay, you know, he's closed the space down really, really well. I just think could have Dom made a different decision. I don't know. Jason says, according to Dave McGallagher on Sky Sports News, he said when Dom was awarded the penalty, the Leeds player could have easily got... He should have been sent off anyway, let alone for the penalty. He got booked for the penalty, and then he made about 3 or 4 shocking challenges later on in the game. He should have been sent off anyway. The referee was atrocious at the weekend. Barring the VAR decision, which he could not have given because it was a blatant penalty, the referee was absolutely atrocious at the weekend. He gave everything to Leeds. He booked every Everton player he could. You know, I think got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, looked at him sideways, and he booked them. I don't know. Maybe he was a Leeds fan. Maybe he was from Yorkshire. I don't know. Jack the lad says, sometimes Dom needs to come deeper than that. Should have been Richie. That shot with the Iwobi through the ball, Richie would have scored. Yeah, fair enough. Paul says it just needs to click for Dom one of these days. They will start going in a lot more. He needs more composure, which comes with time. Yeah, Alex says, I think everyone should be told to go to because if it would improve our side. Well, again, listen, it's not as easy as that, is it? It's not as easy as that. Paul says Iwobi is what, 24, just starting to develop. Jack Lad says DCL needs to come deeper sometimes. Want to see him drop into that 10 like Kane. DCL has got a decent pass on him like it used to be midfielder. Yeah, I'd agree. Matthias Cunha screams flop, says a Quister. Fair enough. John says Leeds' second goal was class, but why did we let 3 players queue up unmarked on the edge of the box? We had about 7 players in the 6-yard box. Yeah, and that's the little mistakes. Like I said, excellent finish, but that's the little things that we need to iron out, isn't it? Tudy says I can't stay for long. Just want to say, yeah, he was immense, mate. That crucial block at the very end when Bamford was sitting on the floor. Yeah, absolutely, mate, absolutely. John says Leeds leaked too many goals. You confident for Huddersfield, says Thomas? I am, mate, I am. Dan says people forget Dom had an awful pre-season, no game time, and he's playing with a toe injury. He is playing with a toe injury. Incesting. Thomas says, didn't mean the emoji. Danby says, 1 point game for me, Cam. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. John says, if you got 2 points for the draw, I would be happy. Yeah, 2 points drop for me, Cam, says Alex. There you go. I think it's 2 points drop for me as well, but that doesn't mean it's negative. It's still a good point at Ellen Road. Don't get me wrong. It's just I think the chances that we had, we could have converted and won the game. Danby says we need to sell Moise Keane, nice player, but he doesn't want to be here. Get rid. Danby says we need a backup striker of the same profile as DCL, big target man like. Bloody hell. Swallowed some air. Bummin' hell. Swallowed the fly there. Not sure what happened then. Harpe Matthew says, how do you feel about Dell's performance? Sorry, yeah, he was alright. He come on, he threw himself about a bit, he made a good challenge, and yeah, he was alright. Jamie says, Delph definitely calmed the game down and took some control. Not as big as fan usually though, yeah. I'd agree. Basic says he's chatting out of Wham is right. Danby says Delph's lad tackle at the end was terrifying but boss. John says, can Ned get his brother Matty to sing them? Maybe. We'll have to ask him. And Thomas says, how good is it to see the different players chipping in with goals apart from it just being Dom and Richie? Yeah, absolutely, mate. And that's what we need. We need more goals throughout the squad. That's not just reliant on Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, I agree. Anyway, look, we're going to finish it there then. Listen, again, like I said, whether you think it's a point gain, a point gain, 2 points dropped, it's a decent point. All things considered, a draw away at Ellen Road against the Leeds side with a full crowd, behind them for the first time since returning to the Premier League. First time in the Premier League for, 15, 16 years, something like that. It's a good point. It's a decent point. Yes, we had chances to win the game. Yes, on another day, maybe we should have won the game, but you take a point away there, and obviously, like I said, we move on now to Huddersfield tomorrow night, and then we move on to Brighton at the weekend. If you enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back a little bit later on with the Huddersfield preview, so don't forget to look out for that one. That'll be a video, so don't forget to look out for that one. Like I said, we will be live again tomorrow morning, talking about some transfers and getting into the obviously the bits and bobs about transfers, and then obviously we'll be back tomorrow evening with the instant match reaction and the player ratings to the Huddersfield game. So look out for that one. Charlie says, big up Cameron, cheers my mate. Thomas says, Cam mate, not now, we're about to end, don't that now is right. John says, over and out, see yous. And Matthew says, champion Cam, thanks. And Danboy says, take care Cam. Thank you very much, take care everyone. Hope you have a great day. Like I said, we'll be back later with the Huddersfield preview, so don't forget to look out for that one. Massive thanks for watching, leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we will see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Cheers for watching, see you after.